For My Healthy Bangkok Instagram Live and our first edition of it, we received Morgane Quinchon, who's a health and wellness professional who works in the field of nutrition. Our theme was shifting our focus in nutrition and creating new habits. This is the replay of it, and we will leave in the comments of this video different links and different references that you could access later on. I hope you enjoy it.
Since our lives have changed so much in the past, let's say the past months, wherever we are in the world really, and whatever our lifestyles used to be, I think we've all been kicked out of our comfort zone, and we all had to change our habits, whether it was a conscious choice or not at all. So the theme we want to approach today is, since we have to make changes anyway, we might as well take the opportunity to create new habits. And when we talk about health, lifestyle, and wellness, one strong pillar is, of course, nutrition. This is why I'm so glad that you accepted to join this live and, enlighten us with your knowledge. So to introduce you briefly, for those who don't know you yet, since 2018, you moved to Phuket, so living I think the dream beach life that a lot of us are dreaming about. And you work at Thanyapura, which is a sports and health resort, as their nutrition manager and sports nutritionist. Would you like to start by telling us why you decided to become a nutritionist, besides being interested in well-being in general?
My real why is more a who, because when I was a teenager, I think, as all teenagers, I had trouble with kind of confidence and body image, and I got into eating disorders, where some days I could eat maybe just one grapefruit, for example, and then I thought that the next day I would be thin or something like that. I was constantly comparing myself to basically all my friends, and I found that all my girlfriends were all like taller or smarter or more beautiful, and I really had trouble with myself. And I thought that I was like chubby, ugly. So it was really hard with myself, and I thought, well, let's starve myself, let's try. So I tried many things. Those diets that you can find on the back of your cereal pack, where a dietitian is giving you advice like, only eat like 30 grams of that and then do sports. So I was kind of following anything, and at a point I was kind of lost and so unhappy that my mother gave me the number of a doctor, and she was so in France it's a doctor nutritionist, and she was specialized in endocrinology. Okay. And I thought that, like my mom said, well, she might help you. And I thought, yeah, great. I will see a dietitian and she will give me a plan, a restrictive plan that will allow me to put it in the fridge and say, hey, mom, you see, I cannot eat pasta because it makes me fat and because the doctor told me. Anyway, I went to the doctor.
You were looking for a very structured and a magical answer from the doctor.
Exactly. In my mind, I had so many misconceptions also of food, because I read so many things. So I was looking into the calories, into the fats, into all the contents, but I did not know. I knew nothing about it, but I thought I knew. And then I saw that doctor, and I was expecting what was in my mind, what's going to be like a plan with calorie that I need, not to be fat. And I was especially expecting her, as a doctor, as a professional, to tell me that I'm fat. But she did not, because I think I was not. And she told me, and she explained to me, she told me, I won't give you a plan. I will ask you to write down she gave me homework.
Okay.
I had 1 week, a journal for 1 week, and I had to write down every item I eat or I drink. And I had to write down how I feel before, during, after, and the whole thing. And honestly, when I went out of her office, I thought I will never go back again. She's useless, she's not a doctor, whatever. And but the very day, on that very day, I just decided to start and write down like, okay, I had dinner because my mom forced me, da da da. And by the end of the week, I started to kind of enjoy writing down my feelings and how I, you know, how much chocolate I ate. And sometimes I was like just trying to erase what I eat because I felt guilty of it. And after 2 weeks, she saw me again, and we were analyzing the journal together. And well, to cut it short, I saw her many times, and she helped me just with that journal to be more connected to myself and stop, well, comparing myself to others, because I am me and I'm not my best friend, I am not my sister, and everyone has different needs and everyone has different priorities also. And I found out that I love food, and I need, like, if I want chocolate, I will eat the chocolate, and I won't eat an apple just because it's healthier. No. So I because of her, I learned how to listen to my needs, and that's because of her that I wanted to become someone like her. Like someone who is able to explain to you that calories, macro, like all those stuff, you don't necessarily need that, and unless you are like completely okay with yourself. But we all have some, you know, some disagreement with ourselves. And I think like she really helped me to reconnect, and I wanted to become her. That's why then I started medical school, and then I specialized in nutrition. And now she's retired, but when I got my diploma, I contacted her, and
now you're taking over.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, because I'm just following your steps, and I really want to help people as much as she helped me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I mean, thank you so much for sharing your personal experience. And really, you know, like what I find beautiful is, and I think that's a common thing with several people working in health and wellness at whatever level, is it often comes from, you know, like a personal need or experience, something you lived and that changed you, that made you realize that, oh, you know, you want to contribute to building health for people around you. And this is, you know, like so rewarding when that happens. So I thank you again for being, you know, with me today, and for your approach, because from knowing you, I know that your approach to nutrition really encompasses the physical, the mental, the emotional aspects, but it also, you know, like approach the environments in which we're in. You know, again, the theme of creating new habits, and hopefully the whole situation is going to improve. But whatever habits we're building and we're going to commit to today can, you know, like will be able to follow us, you know, on the long run. And I think, you know, like your own experience before you even became a dietitian and a nutritionist was to, you know, like kind of connect with yourself and search for the answer within yourself, and know that whatever works for you is going to work for you. And then each person, they have find their own way. I'm happy. I'm seeing a lot more people joining in. We're seeing the comments. So please, if you have any question or any comments, feel free, and we'll address any question as they pop up if we can. Otherwise, we will connect with you after the live personally. Okay, so to jump in the topic of today and about creating new habits, may we know for yourself, how has this whole pandemic affected your own habits and even your own perception of what nutrition is?
Well, I would say personally, I think that I got affected like the rest of us, as my first reaction was stress. And stress because of the unknown, and stress because there are so many uncertainty about what's going to happen. And also a big stress being away like 12,000 kilometers from my hometown. And like personally, my first thought was to my family and my friends back home, like what if anything happens to them and I'm not, well, I'm here in Thailand and I can't reach them. So my first thought was, oh my God, like I was completely overwhelmed. And also work, like professionally speaking, it was difficult as well. So many information got me like really stressed. So in time of stress, I just decided to refocus and to start and think of, okay, what can I control now? I can't control the future, and I can't control the situation. But what is in my power and what are my tools right now to control as much as I can, and which field do I want to prioritize here? So by refocusing and deciding to really make my priorities somewhere, I decided that I will just try and do more meditation, for example, because it works for me, being more mindful. So I will start my day with like 10 minutes of meditation and breathing exercise, because it helps me to recenter and refocus. And then I decided also to focus on what matters to me. So the thing that matters to me are mostly my friends, my family, so the social connection, my partner who I'm living with, my sleep needs to be good, and I need to exercise daily to feel better, to boost my mood, and I also need a proper nutrition. Well, proper nutrition I kind of know because it's my job, but we all know that you're always the best to advise people, but when it comes to you, it could be harder. So I decided to make more time for myself and to really enjoy, like I'm doing like more, we are both cooking more and more at home because we have no choice, but it's like home cook, and we try new recipes so we get an idea of variety in our diet, which is one of the first pillar of gut health. If you are always eating the same foods, somehow you're always nourishing yourself with the same nutrients, and your body will get bored.
So yeah, one of the first tip that you would give in terms of nutrition is to make sure to bring in variety even more than before.
Variety is because we hear, we are used to the idea of like you need to eat 5 different types of fruits and veggies per day, but actually the rule is kind of changed now. It's more like you need to eat through 1 week, you need to eat 25 different types of fruits and vegetables.
Are people eating more now that they're kind of stuck at home and have an easy access to the fridge or the kitchen? Is that something that you are also hearing a lot around you and people asking you advice about that?
Well, that's an amazing question. And yes, it's so relatable. Like all my friends, families, but also clients are contacting me on that issue, that they are telling me that it's also kind of, they are getting bored at home, and it's so easy, especially nowadays, like you open your fridge and there are always something like fridge or cupboard, something to eat. So yes, people will eat more, but it's not necessarily that they are more hungry. And that's the best way that I work with my clients is to explain the difference between being hungry and just
being
eating.
bored.
Like, are you eating? Are you, what? It's always the same. Like, what is your why?
Yeah.
Why are you eating right now?
Can anybody relate to this? So how do we start this first good habit of not reaching for more food when we don't need it? Do you have any tip for this?
Well, the tip is to listen to yourself, but I know how, for the first time you try it, you think that you look so stupid, like you will be like kind of talking to yourself, opening the fridge and be like, wait, why am I doing that again? You see what I mean? And also one of my colleagues, she can illustrate it like pretty good. Like she says to her kids, like, okay, if you're hungry, get an apple. And her kid is like, I don't want to eat an apple. And then she's like, well, if you don't want that apple, that means that you're not hungry. So maybe you need something else. And that is the question that you need to ask for yourself. It's really, really common to eat when we are bored. That's really, really common. But nowadays, it's not just being bored. And for many of us, it's not being bored, it's being stressed. And that is where it connects to more like mindfulness and being more mindful of what you do.
Yes, eating, as Dev is saying, is a common thing. Stress eating.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. It's really like, so stress, I'm not telling that, and we are all doing it. The first thing is, if we are stressed, and we are all stressed, it's more like, before anything, just take a moment, take a break, and just like breathe in, breathe out 5 times. And yes, you might like seem stupid or look stupid, like you are in front of your cupboard and like
okay.
But trust me,
give
if
yourself
you're
the
stressed,
time.
Yeah, and
You
also
understand what's
give yourself
happening.
time to choose, because also sometimes it's just your body telling you, hey, I need something here. But maybe what you need is fresh air. Maybe what you need is, I don't know, to go for a walk. Maybe it's something else, or talk with someone. It's not necessarily eating that will help.
Now is the best time to face those challenges, because they're so close to us, because we're not out at work, or we're not socializing so much. So these maybe relationship that we have with food that are not based on hunger, but based on boredom, stress, and so on, if they exist, going to come back at us a lot more, right? In the situation of that, there's clearly a lot more stress. And from knowing you and your approach to nutrition, there are ways that changing the way we eat and changing our nutrition could actually help as well, working on, I cannot say getting rid of stress, but at least controlling a bit the level of adrenaline, cortisol, and all of that we hear of.
So adrenaline and cortisol will be the kind of the stress hormones that will send a signal to our brain and then our whole body. And when those are too high, that can create some inflammation in our body. And inflammation is the root of kind of every disease. So now more than ever, we want to slow down the process of inflammation, and we would like to slow down or to rebalance somehow this cortisol, because we need cortisol, we need adrenaline, but we don't need too much. We know now that food has an impact on your brain, on your mood, not just on your digestion. And this is what makes it powerful. Food, I know it's a cliche, but food is a medicine. We all know that there are some nutrients that can help you to boost your mood, boost your immune system, boost your gut health, and somehow everything is related. Your gut is your second brain, and there is something called serotonin. We know serotonin is a messenger for your brain that will trigger happiness. And we know that because serotonin has been used for ages in psychology as medicine, like Prozac, for example. And then we found out that you do not need necessarily medicine to boost that hormone and to boost that serotonin. There are some foods that contain a typical amino acid called tryptophan. So that particular amino acid will be digested into your gut and will create serotonin that will then go into your brain and boost yourself. 95% of serotonin is created here in your gut.
Yeah, but what are the typical food that's going to help us achieve that level of happy hormones in our body and our brain?
Basically, I will focus on those plant-based foods that can bring you a lot. And you have like all the greens, like spinach, kale, all those green stuff.
Leafy green veggies.
There is kind of a word that you can remember. It's G-bomb. So G is like green. So all the greens, mostly vegetables because they contain lots of fibers, but they also will bring you lots of tryptophan.
Okay.
And then like basically those G bombs are not only for serotonin, but they are also all those foods that will help your microbiome, your gut health, and then will create a good they will have a good impact on your brain as well. See yourself as a car, like a luxury car. You will not put cheap gasoline or cheap fuel in your car. And that's the same with your body. Your body needs an amazing, a golden type of food that will really nourish your body, and not a cheap food that will, in the end, injure and break your engine and your body. So really, if you see yourself as that luxury car that you want to take care of, because, well, I'm not that good at taking care of my car, but many people can relate to that, you will take care of yourself. Think of it. You need to put the right gasoline, the right oil. You need to put water in your car as well. You need to cool it down. So it's exactly the same. You are a luxury car. And so there are many, many aspects, but you need the good nutrition. And I would specifically say that nowadays you need to avoid those processed foods. Processed foods that are all like, basically it's not homemade. It's all from the food industry, and that those ones will be full of additives that are not good for yourself. And the more natural, the more raw form of food you can get, the better it will be for yourself. Say, like, for example, if you are taking, like, if you want to eat, I don't know, grated carrots, don't buy carrots in a pack that are full with sugar, salt, preservatives. Just buy a carrot and grate it, you know?
So
and that will give you all the nutrients that you need. And that's kind of a luxury food compared to something that is packed. And also, my best advice is, when you buy something, read the label. Well, I know in Thailand it's really hard because it's written in Thai. So you need to learn how to
translate the picture. So it works quite fast if we find a way.
And basically, if you don't understand the words, don't eat it. If you can't read it, don't eat it. You have the greens, vegetables, but there are also like big families. Nuts and seeds are an amazing family that can bring you healthy fats, a good amount of vitamins, lots of vitamins, zinc, selenium, magnesium. All of that are micronutrients, and micronutrients are as important as macro one, like protein, fats, the one that we kind of know. They are the tiny workers. Will help the big ones to really fuel your body. So you need those tiny workers, the minerals and vitamins, to really boost yourself. You need those ones, and you will find them in basically all the plant-based food: nuts, seeds, pulses such as beans, lentils, chickpeas. You find them in fresh veggies, fresh fruits, like, for example, like chia seeds. We all hear about chia seeds. It's really good in omega-3. It's a superfood. How can you have chia seeds? Well, the best is just to add like 1 tablespoon in a smoothie. You do your breakfast as a porridge, for example, you can add it inside. So for me, for example, having nuts and seeds every day, I'll mix at home. I mix different. Here we have plenty of sunflower seeds, cashew nuts in Thailand. So I mix all of them, and I will have like 1 handful per day.
Today we're talking about creating new habit around nutrition and shifting our focus. So the focus is to really move away from some misconception we might have had so far about eating certain food to look a certain way, but now it's more eating certain type of food to feel good. And I'm going to quote you here, Morgane, because you wrote something great. I don't know where I got that from, but I got that from you. Food is not about the weight you lose, but it's about the life you gain. One great tip that you gave is, whenever we feel like eating because we are lonely, bored, and stressed as well, which is a big issue we're all facing, take a moment and really ask ourselves, is that what we need right now?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
do we need something else? Do we need to go for a walk, talk to a friend, call someone? Maybe we're thirsty, or anything else than feeding ourselves out of emotional like need. That's one great tip you give. Another great tip you gave was to incorporate as much green leafy vegetables as we can.
I will add leafy greens in my breakfast.
Yes.
As a smoothie.
Add a smoothie.
But
yes.
I mix them.
Okay.
Yeah. But so the smoothie color is not really appealing. It's kind of brownish. You don't want really that. But then you just put some toppings on top, and you create a great smoothie bowl, and it's amazing. Like, for example, blueberries, spinach, banana. You mix all that together. If you need a little more sweetness, it's already sweet. But if you need a little more, you can add fresh coconut water. We have plenty of coconuts here, even in Bangkok. So you can add that, and that will create a weird color, but it's really, really good and healthy. But you also need to enjoy also, like, it comes from your eyes. So if you don't really like the color, just top it up with like grated coconut, some, I don't know, like dragon fruit, or just add some nice colors on top. Yeah, frozen blueberries. Yeah, here we can't really, well, the price of the fresh ones are way too expensive, so I will go for the frozen ones. It's just because if you add something frozen, it makes it more fresh.
Yes.
And it's easier to blend the smoothie when it's frozen.
Oh, that's true.
And otherwise, the dark green veggies, you can also, I kind of, we have a wok, and we do like a saute kale and saute spinach. Is really good with garlic. Garlic is really good also to reduce inflammation. So that's also a good way to eat them. Or I'm really used, back in my childhood, I had soup every day. And even though I did not really grow up that much, because my mother said, eat your soup and you will grow up.
Yes, we all heard that. It's not true.
Yeah, I did not grow up. But then I kept that habit, and even if it's like 30 degrees outside, I always have my soup every day with my greens inside. So right. Yeah, that's an easy way to have them, or as a salad as well.
And maybe, so you were saying to avoid processed food, which I think everybody's here is interested in health and wellness, and that's why they're following us. So they might have already started to get rid of processed food. But are there any food that we believe are healthy, but are actually working against us in terms of, again, stress and our brain health and our gut health, since you were referring to that earlier?
I will really say that the only food that will trigger that is any packaged food. It's something that is not in its natural form. Mm-hmm. But I really believe that any type of food, although you can hear many things or read many things, for me, food has an amazing power on yourself. But however, some of food families should be limited, just because of the food industry nowadays. Yes. The way it is processed and the way it ends in your plate. Well, yeah, I see MSG. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
MSG noodles, big deal in Thailand.
But I would say MSG for me is not food. That is why I did not mention that. MSG is an additive, and it's also a taste enhancer. And it is true that in Thailand, one of my first reaction was, in any street food, there will be added MSG or palm oil. If you go to the supermarket, it's written in big letters MSG palm oil, which is kind of forbidden in Europe. So it was really weird for me when I first saw that, like, hey, why will we cook in that or buy that? But I would say MSG, GMO foods, yes, but for me, all of those are not good, but it's created by the industry. It's not proper food. So when you ask the question, is there food that we should avoid? Of course, I would think natural ingredients.
Yeah.
All those processed MSG, added sugar, those, yes, will work against your health.
a good new
Yeah,
habit to
sorry.
have is to cut down on those. I mean, I know it's very hard because it's so easy. I mean, it's cheap, it's easily accessible, it's tasty because they make it really tasty. But maybe with some, I can see a question from David about saucisson, which is his favorite food in the world. Oh my God, this is, you know, like I'm desperate. Please help
I was
us
reading
here.
it. I was like, ah,
This
who
is
wrote
cured
that?
meat, guys. For those who don't know, it's the French cured meat. It is processed food, isn't it, Morgane? You have to work with me here. How to reduce the consumption of that in the house. It is processed, but I guess there's certain.
But then it depends. It always depends also of who you are buying it from and what was the process behind. But some food are really, really bad and we will think that they are healthy. And I could also mention, just quickly, I can mention sugar, just because I've seen recently a documentary, and among every studies that they were referring to, they referred to that study on rats, and they compared the addiction for sugar to the addiction of cocaine and heroin. And basically they create that needs, they deprave the rat from those, and then they put the rat in contact of sugar on one side and cocaine, heroin on the other side. The rat, first of all, the rat has some issues, like he's completely hyperactive and he will jump to the sugar and not to the cocaine. And that's amazing to realize that we will never give cocaine to our kids, but we do give sugar because we don't necessarily know, because it's hidden. And that's the power of processed food and industry. That is why always the best advice is to go back to home cooking, or your neighbor restaurant that you know is cooking properly and not adding too much. But at least when you do at home, you can control the quantity that you put, and you know that you are feeding your kids with good food. And I'm always referring to kids because like they will be adults tomorrow, and it's the best ways to educate them right now so they don't have those problems later to really get less addicted.
And this is one thing also that you were advising from the beginning, is writing things down and journaling, right? In a way. Because it's true that sometimes I even feel it myself. Some days I would feel, you know, like I won't feel good, and it might have something to do with what I had for the meal before, but I don't necessarily realize the connection. But by writing things down, but I don't do it. But if I did, I could, you know, like quickly see what's the connection between the way I feel and what I put on my plate. So is that something you're advising people to do?
Honestly, it's really worth it. Journaling your life, like writing down what you do, like kind of your physical activity, what you eat, how you sleep. This is going to really help you, because you might remember right away what you had for breakfast, for example, today, but tomorrow you might forget. And your health and also your disease don't build up like that. It's related to the week before, the month before. And so I think it's really important that you write it down so you can also process it later and go back to it. Regarding food, nowadays we all have a smartphone. You can also take a picture and have your own like album, like of food that I eat. So it helps you as well. And it's less boring than journaling. But it's as all the new habits, once you do it like for a while, it becomes a routine, like brushing your teeth. It's going to be the same with writing down what you do. And also if you start to write down, nowadays it can help you with all the stress. You can also write down every day what, like 3 things or 1 thing at least that you are grateful for. And you will realize that writing down how grateful you are will really help you to get that positive mindset. And even when we have a bad day, the shittiest of the day, there is always one bright thing. And sometimes it's really, really hard. But I don't know, it could be like, I drank an amazing coffee, and that will be your gratefulness of the day.
Yeah, there's always something to be grateful for.
Yeah. if you focus on the positive, it will really help you. And I found out that writing it down also helps better, because you can really see it. And on the next day, when you're still completely moody and really low, you can say, oh, yesterday I was kind of happy with that.
Yeah.
So why not happy today with this, you know?
Appreciate
So,
even the
yeah.
small things. And that's amazing
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
even doing things like that are actually, you know, like related to nutrition in a way, because it's nurturing your soul in a way, right? And it's not only, I mean, of course, nutrition and the food that you technically eat is going to affect how you feel. This is no question asked.
Exactly.
But what you're saying is also by building those healthy habits around it, it's all going to kind of fuel you and up your level of well-being.
Exactly. It's I'm kind of a holistic practitioner. I don't believe it's just only food or just only exercise. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's your environment. It's the way you sleep. It's the way you feel. It's the way you approach things as well. Seeing someone that is always negative and always thinking negative of yourself will always let you down, and you will always feel like that. And you
it's
don't want,
contagious, isn't
like,
it?
if you see me right away sitting like that and not really into what you are saying, well, of course, at the end of this talk, you will feel like this.
Yes.
If we are smiling to each other, and there are plenty of studies as well, just the power of a smile. And that's why Thailand is amazing, and that's why I'm pretty sure you can relate to that how many smiles you can see. And it's amazing how a smile can change. And especially here, you realize that even in dark days, they will be smiling, and that's a big change. Just smile. And see the impact on your brain, and also then the impact on your choices and your food choices as well. It's amazing. It's really all related, and I could talk
circle.
so many hours of that. So
yes.
stop.
And I think, because we're gonna wrap up soon, but I think before we go, maybe we could have a bit more details about what you do at Thanyapura. Like, what do people usually come to see you for? And maybe it will change even after this pandemic. Maybe the focus will be different. Yeah, maybe you can share a bit more with us if people wanted to contact you. You know, like to have a personal chat with you through Thanyapura.
Yes, I do take care of professional athletes, triathletes, swimmers. We have a lot of FINA swimmers that are coached every day, and they will stay with us until the Olympics that are postponed to next year. So I take care of them as well. But Thanyapura is also open to everyone, like not athletic people or sports. Like even if you're not into sports, some people are coming for detox, for weight loss. Some people are just coming because like they will come and see me just for an education, or just because they want to teach something to their kids as well, because there is a international school, UWC Thailand, next to Thanyapura. So I will see many different type of people, from families, individuals, sports, obese people, eating disorders. So I'm taking care of many different type of people. And my approach is really what I want to teach to my clients is that health is not something like that. It's not a magical stuff. So you need to invest in yourself. You need to be patient, and especially nowadays, that we are so used to have everything instantly. And nowadays we can get like all the knowledge on a website. We also want all the results right away. We want health, we want everything right away, but in reality it's more difficult.
Yeah.
So I really, first I'm not just a registered dietitian, I'm also a sports nutritionist, and I'm also a health coach. So I have all the tools to help you to really define what is your goal, what is your why, and like to really work for yourself, and not work because your husband is sending you here because he wants you to lose some weight, If it's the case, you will never lose that weight. So you need to want to come. And at Thanyapura, we can take care of many, many aspects of your wellness, because we do meditation, mindfulness, we have clinic. So we can do many, many things. And my approach is always not just one consultation, but to work as kind of a package with you. We need to do some follow-ups, just because it's the same with a new routine. You need to check, okay, how is it going on for me? And maybe I need to readjust. And in life, you always need to readjust. Even something that is working, there is always a way to twist it. And that's what we do at Thanyapura. We help you to optimize your life and your health. And that's my biggest challenge is you, basically, is all my clients. And we really try to work as a team to help you. If I find that I don't have all the tools to help you, I will refer you to the doctor, to the coach, the sports coach, or the mindful trainer. So we have many different type of people, and I see that some of my colleagues are here. So hello.
Yes.
Voilà.
It's amazing. Yeah, you have like a lot of resources under one roof. So this is also like you were saying, a lot of teamwork for people who are attending this live, and for people who are seeing this even afterwards. They can reach out to you. You will offer them through Thanyapura a 15-minute discovery call. So each person can come to you with their own particular needs, because it's also about. And I'd like to finish by, you know, maybe saying that habits, they don't build overnight, like you were saying, and it requires some patience. But with patience and a good guidance from a professional like yourself, changes are possible, and changes in such a time and such an, you know, like a crisis and during this pandemic can happen as well, because through change and through pain, that's when some magical shift can happen within us. So I like to see it, you know, like even myself, with kind of a bright side to it. And the upside is that even though we are many who are struggling right now because life has gotten complicated and our habits have been taken, there's a way to go back on track or create those new habits with more mindfulness, with journaling, taking more time to ask ourselves what's going on, and with listening to nutritional advice that you could give to each of us individually.
Yes.
Right. Great. Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks to those of you who have been commenting and showing us some support. It's amazing to be able to be in touch that way. And if you guys have any question to Morgane, you know, like, please feel free to message us, and I will make sure to transfer all questions to her, or contact her directly. That would be the best way at My Health Path. And well, I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See you. Take care.